The Aghori, a mysterious and ancient sect of Hinduism, have long fascinated and perplexed those who come into contact with them. Their unorthodox practices, which include dwelling in cremation grounds, meditating on the dead, and even consuming human flesh, challenge conventional beliefs about spirituality and the path to enlightenment. In this documentary, we will explore the Aghori's origins, beliefs, rituals, and the reasons behind their shocking practices. Our journey begins in India, a land of diverse cultures, rich history, and vibrant spirituality. The Aghori are a small group of ascetics, largely found in the city of Varanasi, which is considered one of the holiest places in Hinduism. The city's sacred river, the Ganges, is a central part of their religious practice. To understand the Aghori, we must first delve into the broader context of Hinduism and its diverse spiritual paths. Hinduism, the world's oldest major religion, encompasses a wide range of beliefs, practices, and philosophies. At its core, it recognizes the ultimate reality, known as Brahman, which is the source of all creation. Hindus believe in the concept of karma, where one's actions determine their future, and the cycle of birth, death, and rebirth, known as samsara. The ultimate goal for many Hindus is to break free from this cycle and attain moksha, or liberation. There are four primary paths to achieve moksha in Hinduism: karma yoga, bhakti yoga, raja yoga, and jnana yoga. Each path focuses on different aspects of spiritual practice, such as devotion, selfless action, meditation, and knowledge. However, the Aghori pursue a unique path known as the left-hand path, or Vamachara, which involves embracing taboo and seemingly impure practices to attain spiritual growth. The Aghori's origins can be traced back to 8th century philosopher Dattatreya, who is considered their founding guru. The sect's name, Aghori, derives from the Sanskrit word Aghor, which means not difficult or non-terrifying. The name suggests that the Aghori's path to enlightenment is simple and direct, albeit unconventional. Their belief system revolves around the idea that everything in the universe is a manifestation of the divine, and that there is no distinction between the pure and impure. They seek to break free from the societal norms and attachments that bind most individuals to the material world. By embracing practices that are considered impure, the Aghori confront and overcome their fears and attachments, ultimately transcending the duality of pure and impure. One of the most striking aspects of the Aghori is their dwelling in cremation grounds, which are considered impure and frightening places in Hindu society. They believe that these locations are infused with spiritual energy, and by living there, they immerse themselves in the essence of the divine. The cremation grounds also serve as a constant reminder of the impermanence of life and the need to detach from worldly concerns. Aghoris are known to use human bones and skulls in their rituals, often crafting them into ceremonial items or using them as bowls for food and drink. This practice, while shocking to many, underscores their belief in the divinity of all things, including the remains of the dead. By using human remains in their rituals, they emphasize the interconnectedness of life and death and the dissolution of the individual ego. Perhaps the most controversial aspect of the Aghori's practice is their consumption of human flesh. They believe that by consuming the dead, they are ingesting the essence of the divine, thus breaking down the barriers between themselves and the ultimate reality. This act is also a powerful symbol of their detachment from societal norms and their willingness to embrace the ultimate taboo. In addition to their shocking rituals, the Aghori engage in intense meditation and worship of the Hindu god Shiva, who is associated with destruction and transformation. They believe that Shiva is the ultimate embodiment of non-duality, and that by worshiping him, they can transcend the illusion of separateness that binds individuals to the cycle of samsara. The Aghori often smear their bodies with the ashes of the dead, symbolizing their connection to Shiva and their embrace of the transformative power of destruction. Their spiritual practice also includes the use of intoxicants such as cannabis and alcohol, which they believe can induce altered states of consciousness that facilitate spiritual growth. While the use of intoxicants is generally frowned upon in mainstream Hinduism, the Aghoris see them as powerful tools for breaking free from the constraints of the rational mind and experiencing the divine directly. Despite their unconventional and often shocking practices, the Aghori are not entirely isolated from the broader Hindu society. They are known to offer their services as healers, using their spiritual powers to treat various ailments and afflictions. Many people in India, especially those who live near the cremation grounds, hold the Aghori in high regard and seek their blessing and assistance. However, the Aghori's path is not without its critics. Some within the Hindu community view their practices as extreme and anti-ethical to the core principles of the religion. Others argue that the Aghori's pursuit of enlightenment through taboo practices is misguided and unnecessary, as there are other, more conventional paths to spiritual growth within Hinduism. Regardless of the controversy surrounding their practices, the Aghori offer a unique and powerful perspective on the nature of spirituality and the path to enlightenment. By embracing the impure and confronting the fears and attachments that bind us to the material world, they challenge our conventional beliefs and force us to question the nature of reality. Their unorthodox path serves as a reminder that the divine can be found in the most unexpected places, and that the journey to enlightenment may take many forms. As we continue to explore the fascinating world of the Aghori, it's essential to understand the significance of their rituals and practices. These rituals are not mere displays of shock value or intended to instill fear. Rather, they serve a much deeper purpose in the Aghori's pursuit of spiritual liberation. One of the central tenets of the Aghori's belief system is the idea of non-duality. They believe that everything in the universe is interconnected, and that the distinctions between good and evil, pure and impure, are ultimately illusory. By embracing what is conventionally considered taboo or profane, the Aghori aim to break free from societal constraints and transcend the limitations of ordinary human consciousness. In this way, their unorthodox practices are seen as a direct path to enlightenment and spiritual liberation. The Aghori's use of human remains in their rituals is perhaps the most well-known and controversial aspect of their practices. They believe that the body is a mere vessel for the soul, and once a person has died, their remains are no longer considered sacred. By meditating in cremation grounds and using human ashes to anoint their bodies, the Aghori are said to confront the impermanence of life and embrace the transformative power of death. The Aghori also place great emphasis on the role of the guru or spiritual teacher in guiding them on their path to enlightenment. The relationship between the guru and disciple is considered sacred and is marked by intense devotion, trust, and surrender. The guru is believed to possess divine knowledge and insight, and by following their guidance, the disciple can overcome their ego and attachment to the material world, ultimately leading to spiritual awakening. One of the most intriguing aspects of the Aghori's spiritual path is the role of the sacred substance known as charas, or cannabis resin. The Aghori use charas as a sacrament in their rituals, believing that it can facilitate deep states of meditation and help them access higher levels of consciousness. While the use of intoxicants is generally frowned upon in Hinduism, the Aghori argue that, when used responsibly and with the proper intention, charas can serve as a powerful tool for spiritual growth. The Aghori's path to enlightenment is undeniably extreme and controversial, and their practices have been met with both fascination and revulsion. However, it is important to recognize that their unconventional approach in spirituality is rooted in a profound understanding of the nature of existence and the quest for liberation from the cycle of birth and death. By embracing the darker aspects of life and challenging societal norms, the Aghori offer a unique and thought-provoking perspective on the nature of spirituality and the human condition. Another aspect of their rituals is the consumption of human flesh, which is believed to grant them supernatural powers and spiritual insights. While this practice is undoubtedly shocking and repulsive to many, it's important to remember that it serves a specific purpose in the Aghori's quest for spiritual growth. By consuming the flesh of the deceased, they believe they are absorbing the individual's life force and gaining a deeper understanding of the nature of existence. In addition to their practices involving human remains, the Aghori also engage in other rituals designed to challenge conventional norms and push the boundaries of human experience. These rituals include meditating while naked or wearing minimal clothing, enduring extreme heat and cold, and engaging in acts of self-mutilation. By subjecting themselves to such intense physical and mental challenges, the Aghori seek to cultivate a state of detachment and transcend the limitations of the physical body. It's also important to note that not all Aghori practices are focused on death and decay. Many Aghori engage in acts of charity and healing, using their spiritual knowledge to treat illnesses and alleviate suffering. They believe that by serving others, they are ultimately serving the divine and furthering their own spiritual growth. Despite the extreme and shocking nature of their practices, the Aghori maintain a sense of humility and compassion. They recognize that their path is not for everyone, and they do not seek to impose their beliefs or practices on others. Instead, they focus on their own spiritual journey and the pursuit of enlightenment through unconventional means. In this documentary, we have explored the origins, beliefs, rituals, and controversies surrounding the Aghori and their pursuit of enlightenment through unconventional means. Their story invites us to consider the nature of spirituality and the myriad ways in which individuals can seek and attain spiritual growth. While the Aghori's practices may shock and disturb many, their unwavering dedication to their path and their commitment to breaking free from the constraints of conventional society serve as a testament to the power of faith and the resilience of the human spirit.